I'm going to speak about, messages from God. The last time I was here, we got a little bit deep into some of the science of mind philosophies or meanings around coronavirus that some ministers had shared. So today I thought we'd kind of lighten it up and have some fun for Mother's Day. And I think our relationships with our moms are probably as varied as they are as people here. Some people still have their mom around and have a great relationship, and then there's people who may not ever have even known their birth mother and everything in between. So we honor all of that. And I'm going to offer the Science of Mind text actually defines a parent as one who brings forth. One who brings forth. And I love that. So the parent mind is God. And that's a teaching from the Science of Mind textbook. And so that might be something we can frame all of this around today for a happy Mother's Day, happy Parent Day, happy whoever nurtured you today. So I'd like to start with Surely the Presence of that song. And then we are going to do a prayer for honoring Mother's Day and then into all the other fun. So Zach, I'll have you take it away with Surely the Presence.
Saying host disabled attendee screen sharing.
I'm not sure what that means, but
so that means that the host has to enable me to screen share.
Well, Zach, I've never had to do that before.
Okay. I can play it on my laptop here if that's just
Hold on, we'll figure it out.
Yeah. It's an easy thing.
I think all you do is hit share at the bottom.
Well, it's for me. I don't want to share my screen.
Well, I tell you what, how about I'll just
Zach, try it now. Zach, try it now.
Yeah, it's working.
All right, breathe and relax, whatever suits you in the best way, so that we focus on our attention here now in this present moment.
I can feel his mighty power and his grace. I can hear the brush of angels' wings. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. In the midst of his children, the Lord said he would be. It doesn't take very many. It can be just 2 or 3, and I feel the same sweet spirit that I felt oft times before. Surely I can say that I've been with the Lord. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. I can feel his mighty power and his grace. I can hear presence surround us as God's glory fills this place. I've touched the hem of his garment, and I can almost see his face, and my heart is overflowing with the fullness of his joy. I can say without a doubt that I've been with the Lord. For surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. I can feel his mighty power and his grace. I can hear the brush of angels' wings. I see glory on each face. For surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. For surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. This place.
Surely and absolutely the presence of God is in this place, wherever your place is physically, and certainly within the energy of this gathering. You are here, thanks to God. They are here, thanks to God, the two people who gave you life and human form. And I am so grateful that each of you is here today. We bless moms today who are expecting a baby. Calm their fears, keep that new little life safe. We bless mothers who have babies and toddlers and are busy with bottles and sippy cups and endless laundry. We give them the strength. Bless mothers who have busy school-age children, and they are now tasked even more with sharing wisdom to answer questions and educating, modeling maturity and molding young hearts. We bless mothers who parent teenagers. Allow them the grace to let go when needed and the courage to provide them with boundaries when required. Bless mothers of adult children, they would savor the joy of friendship with their grown child. Bless single mothers with the strength to fulfill so many roles, that they may have supportive people in their lives. Bless grandmothers who have the double blessing of being both mother and grandmother. Give firm peace for mothers who have lost a child or women who are grieving because of infertility. Give us eyes to see women around us struggle to mother as well. Help us be of service and support to them when we see an opportunity. Thank you for our mothers. They gave us life, the gift that we are forever grateful for. And I am thankful for all who came together today to support each other in exploring and deepening spiritual possibility. And so it is. Amen. I add the amen in there because this was taken from prayer, a Christian prayer that I found about mothers, and I liked it very much. So when I was, I don't know, maybe 10 or 12, I was in the kitchen when my mom was reading a magazine. And also feel free to give me a thumbs up, down if video or audio goes out. I meant to mention that. I was reading one of those magazines, like, I don't know, Good Housekeeping or Red Book. You remember those back in the day? And she was reading an article on the actress Shirley MacLaine. And Mother looked up and she said, well, isn't that interesting? She has a daughter about your age, like I said, 10 to 12, and her father lives in Japan. She flies every year all by herself to Japan to stay with her father. And that was it. There was no, oh my gosh, that's scary, or oh my gosh, you should do that. Nothing. She just simply offered that information. And I have no idea if it was intentional or what was behind that, but it stuck with me, and I believe really planted the seed for my love of travel and no fear surrounding it. And I've remembered that story forever. And it was what my mother did say, didn't do, didn't react to, I think, that really struck me. It just simply offered information and planted a seed. Now, when I was maybe 6 or 7, I found a bottle of lime vodka underneath my teenage sister's bed, Sue, and I think she's on this call. She was 10 years older, is 10 years older than me, so we didn't get into a lot of trouble with each other, or, together. We were pretty far apart in age. Somehow I knew that that was not right to have a bottle of lime vodka underneath her bed. So I promptly went in and told my mother, and she very promptly did nothing. I was like, wait, what is it? Something going to happen? Somebody's going to get in trouble? Something's going to, come down? Nothing. She just very calmly said, okay. And years later, I was visiting with my sister about this for the first time when she realized who actually told on her. And she said, our mom brought that up to me years later. And I said, well, why didn't you say anything? And she said, oh, I just would check on it every now and then. And the level didn't go down very far. So I figured there wasn't a lot of trouble or problem. And so she and I have talked a lot about how our mother kind of, parented really by simply not overreacting, not jumping to a conclusion, to kind of holding back, to wait and see. And that is something I continually to learn from my mother, because boy, sometimes it's hard not to do that, to jump in and react or tell somebody what to do, but to really let them kind of make their own way, make their own choice. And of course, in religious science, it's all about making our own choices. And so that's a little something I learned from my mother. Now, my godmother and godfather lived across the street, and they didn't entertain much yet. They had this whole stack of little cocktail napkins, and some of you might remember them. They just had stick figure drawings on them. There was like a man holding a martini glass, and they had little scalloped edges. Now, they never used them. Oh no, those weren't to be used, right? Those were just to be looked at, I guess. And I can remember going over and kind of looking through the stacks because I like to see the pictures. And little did I know that that would start my path to a lot of wisdom from cocktail napkins. Mm-hmm. And when I mentioned this, Linda was so kindly brought me a bunch of tea bags, which I would love to distribute to all of you maybe another time when we meet together, on the yogi tea bags, the little sayings too. So we're going to incorporate some of those. So my fascination with cocktail napkins started with my godmother. So thank you so much. I mentioned this because I think there's a lot of wisdom in fun places. I know a lot of you'll see a billboard, you turn the radio and there's a song that has the perfect line. And I love in-depth study and reading and groups, but sometimes I really find the best wisdom and the best reminders from just all kinds of fun places. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So sure enough, every time you make a cup of tea, or perhaps you stir up a little cocktail, there might just be some wisdom from God in the not so likely place. So everything I need to know, really I think all we need to know, we learn from a cocktail napkin. Number one, I don't know if you can see this or if Zach's going to bring it up, but the first one is, why limit happy to an hour? Right? Why limit happy to an hour? I think about that. When I saw this, I went, yeah, why limit happy to an hour? There you go. Zach's bringing us up for it. They're, chugging back there. But why limit happy to an hour? And don't we sometimes do this? How many of you know someone? I know none of you have ever done this. But how many of you might know someone that says, oh, I'm going to be so happy when I retire? Oh, when that? In 20 years. Or, oh, I'll be so happy when I have a baby. Or, I'll be so happy when those kids are out of the house. Oftentimes put our happiness on another person or another situation or a condition that is not of this present moment. Now, that's not to say we can't plan a trip and be excited about that or something in the future. But I would encourage us to think about if we limit our happiness in any moment, on any day, in any time, and to think about changing that, to shifting that consciousness to, wow, how can I be happy in this moment? What can I be grateful for right now? What might give me a laugh in this moment? And I think that's so important to just always remember that we don't have to limit our happiness on any condition or person or situation, or really maybe even a feeling that's coming from us. We can take a moment to shift it, and happiness really is a choice. Now, one of the tea bags that Linda so lovingly sent me has a saying from the Dalai Lama, and he says, happiness is not ready-made. It comes from your own actions. And he's bringing that up for us now. Yeah, happiness isn't something ready-made. It comes from your own actions. And that leads us into our second wisdom from cocktail napkin. You know, I'm kind of a big deal. And so are each of you. Yeah, I'm kind of a big deal. And so are every one of you on this call, because here is what I know about you. You are a big dang deal because you have power. In any moment to transform not only your life, but the life of someone else. And sometimes it's simple as a few words. I was in our co-op when we could go in and buy groceries, and the young man was helping check, he was checking out my groceries. And I said, hey, what are you up to for the rest of your Friday night? And he got very excited and he said, oh, there's new talent night. I'm going to go do stand-up. I said, oh, boy, that's really hard. He said, oh, yeah, that's what they tell me. I said, bye. And I started to walk off. And I went, wait a minute. I said, hey, could we get a do-over on this? You're going to go do stand-up tonight. You're going to be so good and you're going to have so much fun. I just know it. And he said, well, thanks. Gosh, I sure hope so. And I left. And that was one of the times I caught myself. Wow, wait a minute. What am I saying to this person? How am I affecting this person? Can I be a better big dang deal by sharing some encouraging words, something positive? And I know you all do that too. And sometimes, at least for me, I don't know for you, I get into a habit, you know, oh yeah, that's going to be hard, or that'll be tough, or whoo, good luck, you know, and it's simply just a matter of catching myself and remembering, hey, it's a big deal. Sometimes just a few little words that you share with someone. Now our third cocktail napkin kind of moves into that, and that is, until further notice, celebrate everything. So what would it be like if, until further notice, we only thought about the positive? And I know that's a challenge right now. What, until further notice, if we went really deep within and, wow, is there something positive from this experience, any experience that I can learn, that I can bring? Even in the midst of this coronavirus, what would it look like if we said only encouraging things to our coworkers, our family, to a complete stranger? Well, I can tell you how that looked for one school in Iowa. It was a school in Mapquita. If anybody knows, feel free to correct me at the end. I saw this on a special on PBS about happiness. They interviewed the principal of a school. Now, this school was known to be the worst in the district in terms of grades, behavior, morale, just not good. Until the new sheriff walked into town, this new principal. And he got up and he said, until further notice, we will only talk about, recognize, express the good that happens in this school. And he got everyone on board. Of course, teachers, parents, even the bus drivers. He had them all write a little note to every student on their bus something they liked about that kid. It might have been a challenge, for the kid throwing spitballs at the bus driver. We got the lunch ladies involved doing the same, saying at least one positive thing to every kid who came through that lunch line. And guess what? Within the school year, that whole thing turned around. And at the time of this broadcast, there was a waiting list to get into the worst school in this school district in Iowa. Now, if that isn't some power, if that isn't taking some personal power, some power of positivity, of happiness, of encouragement, and spinning it around, I don't know what better example there is. And when we actually spark the best in others, I believe that makes us feel better, right? I felt so much better walking out of that co-op the second time around than I would have the first time. That makes me happier. That gives more to spread around, and it's a very cyclical effect. So train your eyes, I suggest, your eyes, your ears, everything, to kind of look for that good, to feel it, to evoke it, and to express some gratitude to it. And that way you are never leaving your happy to an hour. You're keeping your eye out. Because life is not about finding yourself, it's about creating yourself. And I think that might have been another one from a bag. You have the power. Religious science says that you really are a part of that which created you, a part of God. Just as our human parents created our human form here, we can't not have their DNA within us, no matter your relationship with them, no matter if you know them or not. We can't not have that DNA, and I believe that's a lot like God. We cannot have that God DNA within us. Whatever you believe, in whatever form created us, divine energy, God, nature, it's within you, and you still have that same creative ability. So you can't change the fact that you are created from a part of that, just as you are created from your human two people, your parents. That's true on our physical plane and on our spiritual plane. And remember, the parent mind is God, according to Ernest. So just as you can't change those qualities of the DNA, you can't change the fact that you're a big dang deal, that you have power, that you have the ability to create happiness within you. Now, we might not acknowledge it, or we might not use it, or we might, but that power is still there. And it is a great spiritual practice to deepen who you are, to be able to choose happiness, to be able to choose encouragement. From another tea bag that Linda shared, is knowledge is about being aware of what you can do, and wisdom is knowing to do it. So of course, along with uplifting people and making choices, we always want to make a wise choice, for our safety, for our health. But it's being aware of what you can do and knowing what is yours to do and when it is to do it. So you can find all kinds of fun ways, not getting happy to an hour, remembering you're kind of a big dang deal, because you make a difference with the very words you say to yourself, to your family, to strangers every day. And until further notice, I suggest we celebrate everything in some way. So your homework, if you choose, is when you find yourself making an excuse not to be happy, not enough money, or a relationship. Think about how you can change that right away. One good practice is just being grateful for something, anything in that moment. And if you see someone, you can offer an encouraging word, whether it's a stranger. I said to the postal worker the other day, I said, she's behind the shield and everything. I said, thank you for coming into work. And she said, I appreciate you saying that. And I'll bet a lot of you have been doing that. Just a simple thank you and appreciation. Boy, there's so many opportunities right now for sure, right? Now, never limit your happy to an hour, a condition, or another person. Always remember each and every one of you is a dang deal. And celebrate everything until further notice. And I have one more napkin here that I don't think Zach has. And that are is our final napkin for today, and I think it's a perfect day for it. Mother always said I could be anything I wanted. I choose fabulous. Mother always said I could be anything I wanted. I choose fabulous. What do you choose? It really is up to you. I know the absolute truth of each and every one of you. You are fabulous. And you are so many things. And we get to choose. So as we close this portion, because I want to leave time if there's sharing, announcements, and all of that, what do you choose? I invite you to bring your awareness consciously within to what you choose. What you choose in this moment, what you choose in this day, and how you choose to move out into the world. I'll wrap up with a brief quote from Ernest Holmes from our Science of Mind textbook about choice. Man has the ability to choose what he will do with his life and is unified with the law, which automatically produces choice. While he doesn't have the ability to destroy the idea of himself, he does have the ability to deface it, to make it appear discordant, but he cannot destroy the divine image. Man is an individual and does with himself what he wills. Scriptures say, God hath made man upright, but they have sought out many inventions. And in those times when we feel we have taken ourselves or something has taken ourselves out of alignment, I invite you to just take a moment to go into some silence and to choose happiness, to choose encouragement, to choose so many other opportunities for exploring, sharing your divine self. And take a moment with me now and decide for yourself what you would like to choose. There are many things, but perhaps for the rest of this day, for the rest of this Mother's Day, you choose peace or joy. Maybe you choose some activity. Maybe you choose quiet time. Whatever it is, I absolutely know there is one power and one presence within the universe, and that is within each and every one of us. As I acknowledge and accept that for myself, I accept that for everyone here, that we have that divine creative spark within us. It's the God DNA that created us, and it is within us every moment, and we can use it. What I affirm and I confirm and I acknowledge is the power of choice is ever present to each one of us. Even in those times when we feel we may have no choice, we can take a breath and say, wait a minute. God knows that I have choice, and I can go to that God center and see what feels best for me. See what brings me happiness. See what brings me encouragement. Shows me how I celebrate the divine being that I am. It is also in those all around me in every situation. That power of choice, that power of love, the power of patience that many of us learn from our mothers. The power of whatever it is you want to be and express. There's nothing to do, simply to be. I give thanks that there is happiness bubbling up within each one of us right now in this very moment. There is encouragement, there's a spark of joy. And I give great thanks that each one of you is absolutely fabulous. And thanks for celebrating this time together. I release the word, and I know it is already happening for everyone involved in this very moment. You are a big dang deal, each and every one of you, because you are here. You are present. You are part of the power and the presence of God. And so it is. And I will turn this over now, I guess, maybe to Rosie or to Deb. I don't know if you have announcements or you have time for sharing.
Thank you, Orlinda.
And next time I see you, I do have napkins for everybody. So, I will bring those to share because, I love a giveaway. You get a napkin and you get a napkin. And Linda brought tea bags for everybody. So we weren't sure when we'd be able to do this in person, but next time we'll pass those around.
Great. Thanks so much. I love your napkins and your tea bags and your message today. We are entities of choice, and we can make a difference based on what we choose. So we are big dang deals. Thank you.
Absolutely.
So our annual meeting will be via Zoom after the May 31st service. So if you are a member, please plan on joining. It will be financial information and voting for new board members. If you choose to be on the ballot for a new board member, please let a board member know so we can put your name on the list. I want to thank you for the people who have accessed the survey about when to reopen. I'm going to close it down tomorrow morning. So if you have not given us your opinion, please do so today, because this is the last day. I also want to thank everyone for your generosity. We're keeping our head above water thanks to your donations. And man, I am so grateful. We are all so grateful. So just a reminder, there are 4 different ways that you can donate. So listen up. You can click on the invitation at the bottom of the e-blast that you receive every week for this recording, for this Zoom meeting, and donate that way. You don't have to have PayPal to do that. You can also send a check to our address, which is posted at the bottom of this Zoom page, 25 South Ewing, Suite 214. And you can go by the church itself, write a check and slip it under the door. The office is accessed at least twice a week. So, and there's also a donate button on the website. So thank you for your generosity, your kindness, and your commitment to keeping our little center thriving. We're doing a good job. So other board members, if I've missed something, will you unmute yourself and give us an update? Did I miss anything? Okay. That's all the time I'm giving you. So Orlinda.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have an ending benediction, or do you have a series of questions that you'd like to engage with the participants? Sure do that.
Well, we can. I'll say thank you to Catherine. I should have asked her the Iowan Makakato. I think she put it in the chat how you pronounce that school. I will say if that's anything that interests you, it's really a fabulous series. PBS runs it sometimes, I think, as a fundraiser. It's called the Happiness, I think of the Happiness Project, and it's a couple, a man and wife who are the speakers, I guess, and some wonderful stories there. So, yes, I'll do a benediction before we leave. I want to leave time in case, because I know a lot of you like to share, and so I tried to, be short today so that if anybody has any sharing they'd like to, where maybe you have some wisdom from your mother, a fun wisdom note from your mother that you'd like to share, or sometimes where you found a fun bit of wisdom. I know another thing that happens for me and maybe happens for you guys. You ever, sometimes I'm just in a frazzle and I get in the car and you turn on the radio and the perfect song will come on. there's a country western song called Everything's Gonna Be All Right. I think it might be, I'm not sure who it is. Anyway, that comes on a lot when I just randomly flip on the radio. It's pretty weird. And so I think it's just a fun little sign that we really are connected, really are connected. And so if anyone has anything fun stuff from their mom they'd like to share, or where they find some fun wisdom, I guess, I don't know, I guess raise your hand and then you unmute, or Deb unmutes you.
I have a little interesting thing.
Okay, yeah,
I
great.
have a Christmas cactus that always starts blooming in November, and it has one bud on it right now in May. It's never done this before, and it's coming from deep within the plant, and there's only one bud. So I'm like, okay, beauty from within, unexpected beauty from within, unexpected smiles. And I took that as a sign from the universe that we're all going to get through this.
That's nice.
You know, I've heard more than one person talk about their Christmas cactus blooming right now, which I don't know, pretty wild. All right, anyone else have a fun sign they want to share, or wisdom from mom?
Hi, Orlinda. Thank you so much for your talk.
Hi,
You're
Marianne.
always so inspiring. You really are. You have such a gift. So this must be a sign. So my son and daughter-in-law gave me tea bags for Mother's Day, tea bags. And the card that they made says, Happy Mother's Day, you're tea-rific. I mean, how did they know your talk was going to be about tea bags, cocktail napkins, and ultimate happiness?
Oh my gosh, isn't that fun? I love those things. I love those little synchronicities. To me, synchronicity is God. No, it's showing up. And you mentioned that it be inspiring, and I thank you for that. But there's also something I've heard, maybe from one of you, I don't remember. Only people who are inspired themselves and are inspiring can be inspired, something like that. So if you're feeling that, it's because it's actually within you, not so much within me. And so I love that idea too, that that inspiration really comes from within. So you're all doing that for yourself.
You're being humble. Oh, hugs to you all. Virtual
Thank
hugs
you.
to you all.
I saw somebody bring a t-shirt that maybe they wanted to share. Oh, Sarah.
Well, this is, I'm the youngest of 5 siblings, and my father had died after 65 years of marriage, and my Mother's Day was just 2 days before that. So all of us decided to wear this, and all 5 of us were running around saying, Mom likes me best. So there's enough love to go around in our mother. Thought that was funny. Blessings to you, and thank you.
I love that. That's funny. Anyone, who else might have any little tidbits of fun wisdom they want to impart to us, or places they find inspiration? Don't know if I'm seeing everybody here, but.
So,
I have something,
oh, who was that?
Rosie.
Rosie, go for it.
So, you know, my relationship with my mother was a challenging experience for both of us. and when I don't know how many of you remember Michael coming and doing a service. Now, Michael was, I don't know what you call it, but people from the past would come through him and want to talk to the people.
Oops, I think we lost your audio, Rosie.
Yeah.
You might have to click off your video for better internet connection there. Well, Rosie, if you can hear us, we'll come back to you. You might have to turn off. Oh, there you go. Turn your video. Now try it. Let's see if we can hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, so anyway, Michael said that he had something to share with me, and he takes me in the car and he says, "Hey, your mother's been talking to me, wants to talk with you." And he shared this message, and of course I was sobbing by the time we were all done. But my mother said to me from the other side, "I just want you to be happy." And I have to.
We lost her
Oh,
again.
I lost you again, Rosie.
I know.
Hi, Sue.
Hey, Sandra Gale. Okay, I have a quick story. I hope Rosie can hear this. My 7th grade boyfriend from Deer Lodge knows Rosie, and we found out because of a crazy Facebook connection. And it was one of those synchronicities that was so fun because he wrote me a quick message that said, "I just loved her." And there you go. We're so connected beyond what we know.
Absolutely, absolutely. Whether it's a fun saying or the whole Facebook connection thing is pretty wild. And Sandra Gale, did you have your hand raised?
I did. Hi, Orlinda. Hey, I'm going to give the great shout out to Mother Earth and just really invite everyone to feel her beneath our feet and feel her presence saturating the cells of our body, inviting us to be grounded, connected, and centered in the knowing that she has us. She supports us. And good, and all is well. Thanks for the tea bags and the cocktail napkins.
Someday we'll get them handed out. Thank you. That could have been our benediction. Thank you so much for bringing up that aspect, Sandra Gale. Anyone else that would like to chime in?
You know, when I was little, I was quite the rambunctious child. No surprise there. Spicy, in your face, anyway. And what I remember vividly coming from my mom was, "Deborah Ann, knock it off." I mean, I know there was some love there somewhere, but, and so today, when I get into a pity party or try and climb in the toilet with my thinking, I hear myself saying, "Deborah Ann, knock it off." And it helps to turn it around. So I'm grateful to my mom for being in my face about that stuff.
And you know, Deb, that is such a great example of something that could have been seen as a detriment, right?
Yeah.
You're willing to shift it and say, wait a minute, I can use this, I can use this power good. But that's really such a great example. And I know, there's all kinds of relationships with our mothers and parents. And so that was such a good reminder. Thank you. That maybe there is something that's stuck in our mind from that seemed a negative thing, and can we turn it around? Or, is it something that we need to work with, a deeper time, another time on a forgiveness or level? But I love that. Just that. Yeah, I'm going to remember that.
Oh, good. So Barta has raised her hand.
Okay, and then Bruce, I see.
Yeah, I found something that came through my feed on Facebook about the original Mother's Day. It was created by a woman named Julia Howe. She called for a festival which should be observed as Mother's Day on June 2nd of every year, and should be devoted to the advocacy of peace doctrines. She was a woman that organized peace conferences, and American states developed their own Mother's Day festivals. So I'd say she was all about peace and love, which is what a mother should be.
Thank you, Barda. Now that you say that, that sounds familiar. The history of it. So thank you so much originally about that peace and love and yeah, thank you. And then see Bruce. Oh, Bruce, you got to unmute yourself. You see a little microphone thing? I think there you got it.
I just wanted to follow up with Deb's comment. I hadn't heard that phrase, crawling in the toilet with my thinking, but I had heard the phrase stinking thinking. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah.
So, okay.
I like that phrase too. Crawling in the toilet with your thinking. Wasn't a Saturday Night Live skit? I don't know if that's where it came from, but there was a Stuart Smalley or one of those characters that Mike Myers did, and he'd say, "That's just stinking thinking." I always remembered that from Saturday Night Live, which I got a lot of wisdom from as well. Okay, I have to scroll through screens here. Diane, yeah, there you go. Sorry if I'm missing any.
There, can you hear me?
If you could speak a little louder or turn up your volume or get closer, you're very faint.
Oh, okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay.
A little better.
My mother threw every bromide at us over the years, and the one that I remember today is that if you're bored or unhappy, go do something for somebody else. She sent us out into the neighborhood, and she said, that way you're not only solving your problem, you're solving somebody else's. And so now in this time of forced imprisonment at times, I just figure that we now can get out, we can do things. And I just remember that she always thought beyond herself. And I hope I passed that on to my stepkids. They're wonderful, but I think that every one of us is a mother, whether we have biological children or not, because we look out for our friends, we look out for those in need. And right now, it just really comes home for me.
Thank you, Diane. That's why I love the sharing, because everyone has so much wisdom to offer and such a good idea. Yeah, when you're down the dumps or feeling sorry for yourself, go do something for someone else. So thank you so much. All right, anybody?
I have one other. I have one other comment.
Chris and then Liz.
Something Diane said triggered something in my memory. And my mom, when I was young, my mom was a screamer. And she had a litany of about 8 or 10 different things she would scream at us when she was mad at us. And I can't remember any of them, and my brother refuses to tell me what they are, except for one. And she used to, when she was really pissed off, she would say, "Who do you think you are, God?" And thanks to science of mind, I can now answer that, why, yes. So that's just kind of interesting that it's like a full circle from that experience of that phrase to now the way that I see it.
Wow, thank you, Chris. I know a lot of us heard that. Who do you think you are? You know, and like a bad thing. And yeah, that's so great that from this teaching and of course other teachings, another way we can frame that and turn it around. Thank you. So Liz.
Yeah, I was reminded of a couple things that I think my mom really influenced me that I didn't really think about for a while, but she loved growing flowers. She had a lot of tulips and daffodils and irises, and she didn't care if I picked them and put them all over the house. And she loved birds, and she came to visit me in Oregon when I lived there, and we went walking on the beach. And I mean, she's picking up so many shells and rocks and driftwood. She just really instilled in me this just love of beauty of nature that I sometimes forget about, that I got that from her. And then Diane's comment reminded me that she volunteered a lot. Like she volunteered for her political party, she volunteered at her church, she volunteered at the public library for over 20 years. And she just really, my parents both instilled in me volunteer work and giving back. And so I'm really, really grateful for so many things for my mom. And it's easy for me to focus on the things that I was frustrated with. And it doesn't really get me anywhere to do that. So I just really choose to focus more on what I'm grateful for and what I enjoyed about my mom. So that's it.
Yeah, thank you. And again, all about choice. And thanks so much, Liz, for sharing that. Okay. Who else has any wisdoms they'd like to impart?
It was Sandra Gale that helped me to think about Mother Earth. I actually never think about her. I've been in a planting stage, Orlinda, and Mr. Sweet and I've been planting things. But there's two Native American, it's actually somewhat universal within indigenous cultures, principles that have to do with women. And the first one is everything comes from mother, and women do nothing to harm the children. Everything comes from mother, and women do nothing to harm the children. And I think that's those two principles have always made me respect and honor women, and also our Mother Earth. Everything comes from Mother Earth.
Am I on?
Boy, we're sure seeing a lot of stuff right now,
Orlinda?
right? Oh, yeah.
No. Hello?
I think I'm muted by the host.
No, you're fine. I can hear you. And I can hear
Sharon. Sharon?
Sharon.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I'm here
I was
with
just saying,
Mitzi.
thank you, Reverend Jean. Sorry, Sharon, go ahead.
I just wanted to say that it is so good to listen to you, to see you, and to see everyone else as well. I have been missing you a lot. And so I'm over here with Mitzi, and we're having a little problem with the computer, so we're on the phone at this point. But thank you for all the messages about mothers. Love you all.
Yes.
See, you want to be in there? We see you. Nice to see you guys, please.
Yeah. You.
Yeah.
I heard that yourself.
Yeah, well, I said, yeah. Anyway, thank you. Thank you, Orlinda, for the awesome talk. Really appreciated it. And Mother's Day is always a little tough for me because I was about 4.5 when my mom died. But I kind of live vicariously with other people's mothers and try to be the best I can. But it's a special day, and I love your words of wisdom. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Mitzi, and I sure acknowledge that it can be a tough day for many people. I was a teenager when my mom passed away, and so I can understand that for sure. And I don't think it even matters the age, probably, that it happens. It can be tough, and we sure acknowledge that too, and appreciate everyone who mothers other people or other people that have felt like a mother to us. So grateful for that as well. Okay, I love this discussion because really this is about community. Whoever the speaker is can spark an idea or maybe something in you, but look at what we've experienced, what we've learned, what we've gained from each other, and I love that. So anyone else? Okay,
we can mute.
All right, Deb, then anything else then, Deb, from you or board or announcements? Or
The only other announcement that I have is I want you all to know that your board is meeting with Reverend Charles Geddes at 12:15 to continue our visioning work, our spiritual work, as it relates to being open to our new minister. So at 12:15, we're going to be deep at it, and you're probably going to be having Mother's Day brunch or something. So you enjoy your afternoon, and we're going to do good work as your board. So that's it for me, Orlinda. Anything left for you?
Absolutely. Well, I'll do a benediction and then I'll play some music.
Okay.
Oh, Sue, I'm sorry, Sue Dozzle.
I just want to thank the board for continuing the mission. I appreciate you all.
Thank you.
I'm sure I speak for everyone.
Yeah, thank you, Sue. Thank you. So, okay. Well, I think, again, I am so grateful, and just take a moment as we, bless out, peace out, as they say, to acknowledge this very special time together. It really is truly uplifting and brings that inspiration forth in each one of us. And it feels so good to be together, to share, to hear from everyone, to soak in that wisdom that comes through each one of us. But ultimately, we know those are messages and wisdom coming from God, simply funneled through each one of us as a channel, as a piece, as a little part of DNA of that God on earth. And as I close out today, I acknowledge, I accept for each one of us the ability to choose happy any moment, not limit it for an hour, to remember that you are a big dang deal, because the way you express here on earth and all that you do for Mother Earth, for all of the beings and the animals and the plants and everything on this earth, the way you care. So blessed for those of you who are caring in so many ways. Remind us to celebrate everything until further notice. See that good in every sense, every opportunity around you. Let it fill you, let it spill over and share with others. I am grateful. I acknowledge peace, joy, and love, acceptance for each and every one here. Blessings to you all. Thank you so much. Amen, and so it is.
So let's give everybody a hug over your heart and send it off.
Man.
Thank you. Thank you, Orlinda. Thank you, everyone.
And a little of Karen Drucker's side, choose if you want to listen for a moment on your way out till they ended. It's always a good reminder for me.